Alright guys, welcome to part 5. This is the filter build. Alright, so to start off, this filter isn't just for this particular gasifier. This could work for anyone's gasifier, including even our DFX machines. So even our clients that have a DFX, you may be interested in building a version of this. Now for this particular build, I'm just building one, but I do plan on adding additional filters of the same design, and basically we're going to run them together in series. So I'm going to add actually 2 more and couple them all together. But just to get going, I'm going to build this one, but it probably will not be enough cooling, especially running in wood gas mode. Charcoal mode, the process is exothermic, so the gas is cooled before it even reaches the filter. So one filter will probably be enough for charcoal use, but raw wood, the temperatures will probably be pretty warm coming out of this. So I'll be adding the taller barrel, 14-inch barrel, to this filter arrangement. Okay, so to start off, I got to get a couple things curing before we get into the project. So I'm going to go over this real quick. This right here is an adapter for the blower, and that will fit on here. And then I'm just going to put one of these Camlock fittings into the adapter, and I'm going to basically glue that in with black silicone. So I want to get that curing so that it's cured by the end of the project, and maybe I'll be able to fire this thing up today or maybe tomorrow. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm just using this black silicone. Just about every auto parts store sells this stuff. This is for doing like diff covers on a differential and other automotive gaskets. I gotta get the plug out of it. Yeah, and this is great fun to get on your hands. So I'm just gonna run a bead around this. Alright, so I'm just kind of smearing it around there, make sure I get a good. Alright, so now I'm going to wipe the excess off in here. And then I'm just going to let that sit for a while. And then we'll attach it to this guy a little bit here later in the video. Alright, so the next thing I want to get done is the stand. Alright, so we will pre-roll this for you, but all you have to do is weld the seam together, just like so. It doesn't have to be solid weld or anything, just a good tack weld, spot weld to weld the seam. And then what we're going to want to do is knock these tabs in. Alright, so I'll show you that real quick. Get a punch set up. So yeah, you know, the flathead screwdriver actually works best for that. Get started, then you can get a pry bar. Alright, so I'm take my pry bar. Okay, so you can see them are bent out. So the idea there is these create a stop for the drum to sit in. Right, so it gives you a clearance from the ground to install this guy. Alright, so while I'm doing that, I'm going to get paint on this. I'm going to use a paint that will cure pretty quickly, so but I'm going to get that going, and then we'll move on to installing the drain. Alright guys, so I got the barrel drum flipped over, and I found my center. On this barrel, it's 14 inches from the inside of the rim here, and so 7 inches from each side, and I found my center. So basically all I'm going to do now is take one of my flanges here, put this on and center it as good as I can, and I'm going to transfer my holes. Alright, now we're going to center punch those, drill them out, drill out my center hole. It's a 1 1/4 hole saw. Alright guys, so I went ahead and drilled the holes out and installed my flange. So now I'm just going to thread this on. You don't really have to use any sealant here. If anything, you could just use the RTV. This will work fine, just fine. So go ahead and thread this on. Alright, so you don't want to install anything here yet because you want to be able to slip this through the stand. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. It's still wet, but I guess I'll deal with it. Yeah, so you're going to want to do this before you install your fitting. Actually, if I can get this below the rim, I think that would actually be more ideal than putting it up here. Because we want to give the gas as much exposure to any filter media that we can, and that'll still leave. Actually, it won't leave as much. About an inch of depth for a condensate reservoir. Well, actually, on this filter, I am going to go on the bottom, I think. And the reason is because I can add the additional capacity for condensate collection in the additional filters that I add. Plus, I'm going to be adding the taller drums. So I am going to go below the rib on this one. Alright, so now I got to figure out which way I want to. I think I'm going to point this out that way, and I'm going to go 90 degrees from where this Alright, so yeah, I'm going to add my cap on here now as well. I got to crank that down a little bit. Hold on, bear with me a minute. There, now my cap unscrews out and screwing that plate. Alright, so I'm going to get my marker and mark my holes out. It's probably hard to see because I'm all black on black here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and center punch this up and drill my holes and mark that. Actually, you know what, maybe I should do the out. So actually I'm going to do my output and then just the opposite side. I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to go just above the rib and go straight across the best I can. I'm going to go ahead and mark these holes out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then while I'm at it, I might as well do my latches as well. We already went over this in the last video. So basically you're going to just rest the catch right on the rim of the barrel, and then you can actually use the cutouts for the stand as reference points to get your 60 degrees increments between each latch. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that as well. So, all right, guys. So as you can see, I got my my flanges all mounted up. So that's my input, the exhaust. And I went ahead and got my latches all installed, and there's the lid, and then the drain. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside for a minute, and we're going to work on the lid. Alright, so you're basically going to mount the Amatec lamb blower right in the lid. Alright, so before, actually we're going to do that now. You have to, depending on how you go about it, I'm going to weld nuts on the lid because the bolts that I don't have a threaded rod. So this is one way you can do it. You can transfer the holes and go all the way through the lid, or you can actually do weld nuts right on here because it's actually the sealant that we're going to use. It's really going to hold this on. It doesn't need a lot of force to hold this on here. But I'm going to weld nuts here to the surface of the lid, and that way I'm not penetrating through with these bolts. And then if you do go through, you're going to want to have a nut here and on the other side to seal the hole. But we need to add the filter. So I got this flange. This comes with a kit, by the way. And this is going to mount to the bottom side. And then we're going to use a large hose clamp to clamp the screen onto here. And this will keep filter media and other debris from getting sucked into that blower and ruining it. So actually, I think I'm gonna start out with yeah, we're gonna transfer the holes, and then I'll cut this out, and then get that put together onto the flange, and then we'll final assemble this. All right, so basically what I'm gonna do is take a tape measure, and try to center that the best I can. I'm going to go ahead and transfer my holes. Okay, and then, the center, this is just a 1.5 inch hole. So you want to use a 1.5 inch hole saw. So you're going to want to mark the center out. I got my center, so I'm gonna drill that out for 1.5 inch, and then we'll center the blower on here. As you can. Alright, so I'm just going to drop a bolt through. Try to spread the line around the bolt. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and center punch all them out, drill them, and then I'll cut this out. Oh yeah, and when I cut this out, I'm going to use the outer perimeter of the flange. So I'm going to use a black marker for that. That'll show up better. And that's just a stainless steel screen, like a window screen. That's all that really needs to be. Then you'll need some large hose clamps, band clamps. So you cut that out, and then when you have it, then when you press this around, it should work out pretty good. All right, you'll see when we're done. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do all this, and then we'll come back and wrap this up. Alright guys, so I got my hole punched out, and the hole pattern for the flange, and my weld nuts for the blower. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna want to do if you went through hole for your blower is you're gonna want to mount the blower first. Since I did weld nuts, I'm gonna install the flange first, because that will make things easier for me. And you don't need any sealant here. I mean, I guess it's optional if you want to. There we bolts here, so bear with me. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt this up. The screen filter is installed, so now I'm going to mount the blower on. And what I'm going to do, I gotta get the plug out there. I'm going to add about a 1/4 to 3/8 speed just to the outside. You want to be careful that you don't get too much to the center because it can squish into that hole, and then you'll suck a piece of that in there and you'll destroy the impeller. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, make sure your wires are out of the way. And I'm going to try to get this as close as I can. Get the center there. Okay, now this guy. Alright, so like I said, in case I didn't go over it before, this is a 1.5 to 1 inch PVC pipe reducer. I cut a little slit in there with a hacksaw blade, and that's so that I can squeeze this on here. Alright, so now I'm going to add a bead to seal this, and I want to get some in that cut as well. And I want to move this around as much as I can. Okay. Then we'll lock that down. So it's good and secure. Alright, so the last thing is to wire it. I just get a 110 power cord, and I'm going to put a connector on each end. That way I can remove this. Right, so I'm going to go over the options of running this blower. This is an AC DC blower. You can run this on AC power or DC. If you run on AC, then you're going to want to get a router speed control. They sell them at Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Home Depot. You can buy them on Amazon. I'm going to try to find ours. Oh, I know where it is. It's on our GFX gasifier outside. So I guess I'll have to go over that later. But you'll want to get that speed controller and run this on low. And even on low setting of that, it's still going to be more than what you're going to need. Now, the other option for running on DC is you can run You could just use a small, this is a 600 watt inverter. So this will convert a 12 volt battery to AC, and that'll run this blower. Or we'll bring you over to the versifier real quick because that has a DC system. Or you can get a step-up module and run 12 volt to 48 volt. You'll need to step the voltage up in order to get any speed out of the blower. And even at 48 volts, that'll be pretty slow, but it'll be enough to get the gasifier going. So this is ran off of a 12 volt DC supply, and then this converts it to 48 volts, and that'll run the blower. If you can go to 96 volt, that might probably even better, but that might not be as common as these. And again, you can get them on Amazon, eBay. Just make sure you get a higher amperage one, at least minimum 10 amps. So you have options. You're not just limited to AC. There's ways to run that blower up direct off of DC. And then, all right, guys. So I have the filter set up with a unit. I figured I probably ought to go over this to show you how it's connected to the gasifier. So there's going to be two hose connections to the gasifier. One is your gas exhaust to the filter, and then the hose from the blower to the flare cup. Okay, so I got two short hoses, and I'm using cam lock hose couplings. And then this hose here is aircraft duct hose, exhaust duct hose. It's about 20. It ranges anywhere from 20 to 30 bucks a foot, depending on where you go. You might be able to find it cheaper, but you know, this is what I use. You don't have to use what I use. You can use whatever you want to use, but this is going to be expensive if you go my route. And I don't go cheap. I go after practical. I try to make my machines as practical as possible. If I have to wrench hose clamps off to move something, I'm not doing it. It's got to be a quick connect system. And then this hose here is a abrasion resistant hose. I get it from MasterCard. It's about $3-4 bucks a foot. All right, and then this here is our router speed controller. So the blower here is connected to that, and then that's plugged into our AC. But again, you could run a small inverter off a 12 volt battery to run this. This is just as easily. But this gives you the best of both worlds. Plus, this is a very powerful blower, and I'm going to show you that in here in just a second. I can keep this thing from vibrating. Sorry for the shakiness. All right, so this is low. Okay, watch this thing build up pressure. I'm going to close this valve. Yeah. That thing's got lots of power. I'm going to bring it over by the intake jet, the primary, and you can really hear it. So all the flow is coming in through that jet. Alright, so I'm going to open up the secondary jet. I can't even pry that lid off there. That's how good that machine's sealed. Yeah, so you know if you you know your machine's sealed if you can't get the lid off with the blower on. Yeah, I'm gonna show you on the back side of this too. Now, if you're gonna be running this just in the flare mode, you will need to put a valve here to your exhaust on your filter, or get a cap. I went this. This actually reduces costs because now I don't have to buy an expensive ball valve here. I just put this cap on here, and then I can switch that out with the supply holes to the engine. So that is it. That actually concludes the build portion of this gasifier. This thing is ready to run an engine now. So all I really need to do, I got fuel, both charcoal and dry wood chips, which we dried a couple weeks ago, and that took a week of. We had that stretch of good weather here, where it was in the 70s and 80s some days, which is not typical for Michigan. But anyways, yeah, it took an entire week to get that fuel down below 15% moisture content. You know, and then when we do the initial test, I'm going to be mixing a 50-50% mixture, and I would highly suggest anyone building any gasifier of any kind to start out with a mixture, a 50-50 mixture. Start out that way, see what happens, and then gradually, you know, remove the charcoal until you get to 100% wood. But yeah, you want to have your fuel as dry as you possibly can get it. You know, this machine is going to give us the best of both worlds. If I'm low on charcoal and I have dry wood, I'll be able to run dry wood. If I'm not out of dry wood, I don't have enough time to dry it, then I can quickly make, you know, 20, 40 gallons of charcoal in a day, and I'll have charcoal to run. Or I can mix the two and prolong both. All right, guys, so we will see you in the next video, and we will be running an engine. I just got to source some hay for that filter, and we're ready to rock. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video.